Well, we'd like to thank you guys for coming. We are going to leave the door open in case people want to show up. And we want to thank the Sheriff's Office for coming. At this, one of the things we do care about people. That's one of the primary things the church does, is we care for people. And this is a huge thing that's impacting people. And so hopefully we are going to be streaming this. And so if you have any questions or you have somebody that you're like, hey, I think this person wasn't here, but they should share it, they can just get onto our Facebook page, Caribou Bible Church, and then get on that Facebook page and they will have a streaming access of these attractive officers here doing their stuff here. Anyway, and so I think the streaming will work best if they're talking into the mic, right, Tammy? Probably, yes. She's trying to be easygoing, but I think that, so that would work best. So thank you guys for coming, and without further ado, go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We appreciate the opportunity to come and talk with you tonight. Is this the mic at which you referred to?
Yeah.
You can take it off.
It's going to be on.
I didn't like. Hey. Try now.
How about now?
Okay.
You can remove it.
I felt that. No, we're excited to be here tonight, and we appreciate the opportunity to come and speak to you about an issue that is affecting our community, and it's having a bad effect on our community. We're trying to raise awareness and make sure that we keep people safe or give them information to make good choices. I'm joined tonight by Sergeant Colby Call. He is a K-9 deputy, and most of the stuff that we use tonight as a demonstration, he actually took away from some people. And we're also joined by Sheriff Mabee. Adam Mabee, the county sheriff, is in the back. Come on in. Come on in and have a seat. We are going to have an informal discussion this evening about drugs in our community. I put together an amazing PowerPoint presentation. Let me get over here where I can see it. So our purpose tonight is to increase your awareness, like we said, the awareness and the dangers associated with illegal drugs. It's going to be an open discussion. We said the door would be closed. Not really. If you need to run out of here, go ahead. No, I'm kidding you. We have an open mind, closed door perspective. We're not here to gather information. We're not here to hem you up. We can have a talk. We're not here to gather information about anybody that's abusing drugs or anything. We're not here for that. Tonight we will possess controlled substances in the church. How cool is that? Now we're going to ask that you give them back. In fact,
How much of it?
well, Sergeant Call's going to keep an eye.
Like all of it?
That's what we talk about. We do ask that you give them back. And I'm not a medical provider. I'm not even a professional. Well, and it's on the internet. So it's got to be true. So the stuff I tell you tonight is confirmed by the internet sources, and it is true. I want to tell you a little bit about how we've migrated in the law enforcement community. Anybody familiar with the DARE program? Remember the DARE program? Anybody graduate with the DARE program? Yeah. What the DARE program kind of said was, drugs are bad, and so are the people who use them. And we sent that home with every 5th grade kid to people, sometimes, who use drugs. So what we're telling them was, Mom and Dad are bad people. Now that was a small percentage, but even losing 1 or 2 like that, we found out that wasn't really effective. We migrated to a program called NOVA, Nurturing Opportunities, Values, and Accountability. It's much broader. It has violence component, pornography, and all types of things that help people make good choices and be accountable for the choices that they make and to build strong values. This is part of our community outreach. We are part of your community, and we live here with you. We contribute in certain ways, sometimes behind you, with the lights on, but we are part of the community, and we want to be part of what you do. Don't out yourself. Yeah. So why? Why drugs? Why are we even here? What is the issue with drugs? Drugs it's a medicinal improvement. It's a life-benefiting, sometimes a life-saving substance that used properly, they can be amazing. They can do the right thing for you. Used improperly, it's a bad situation. It's not the drug, it's the abuse. Sometimes it's to catch a buzz or to get high. We're going to talk about euphoria and the feeling of being high. So it kind of migrated from pain relief, an Oxycontin, relieves pain because it affects your body physiologically, and that felt good to a lot of people, and they kept doing that over and over again, and some got addicted. Improvement of the product, and another reason they do it, the same reason I work for the sheriff's office, was for the money. All that money. By the way, get that guy a pen, I need a raise, budget time's coming up. So euphoria is a type of drug which makes you feel euphoric. I love that they used the word euphoric to describe euphoria. We know what that means. We kind of know what that is trying to say. And it activates the brain's reward system. I'm going to tell you tonight, we're going to tell you tonight that activate sometimes means rewire. If a person uses methamphetamine, it rewires their brain and the pleasure sensor, and it is an effect on their body and their brain. They'll never be that high again, but they will always chase it. So addiction is a very powerful, it's not to be underestimated. You know people who are addicted to certain things, and you know how hard they struggle. Maybe you've had that struggle yourself. And stimulants, the dopamine, the response in your brain, that something is really good and I want more of that. Cocaine, amphetamines, methamphetamine, nicotine can be a stimulant. And I like the one, the caffeine. You can see our office assistant down here at the bottom pouring herself a cup of coffee. Substance abuse. Let's talk about naturally occurring things. We're going to talk about all of them tonight. Marijuana occurs naturally, it's a plant. Cocaine is derived from a plant, heroin. And we also have the synthetic or man-made. We're going to talk about dab. Dab is a marijuana derivative, opiates, meth, our friend fentanyl. And let's start with one. My disclaimer is this. I'm not here to say marijuana is good or bad. We're not going to get into a discussion about pros and cons, maybe a little. I'm here to say marijuana is a substance that is a mind-altering psychoactive drug. THC is the compound in marijuana that gets you high. THC is what we have that causes the problem. I love the street names. I left that up. It's a very, very busy slide, but I love the street names, and if you'll just bear with me, I just want to say it. I just want to say it. Aunt Mary, BC Bud, Blunt, Blue, Chronic, Dope, Gangsta, Ganja, Grass, Hash, you get the idea. There's a lot of different slang names. We've heard a few of them as we have done our duty out there. It's that's smoked in a pipe or a bong, mixed with food. Edibles are a big, big thing. We're going to talk about those. Or brewed as tea. And can you overdose on weed? It hasn't killed anybody, but you can overdose on weed. We've seen it in Caribou. I don't know that I can tell that story in this building. No, we're not going to tell it in this building. But marijuana, if we have the first one is a pipe. So we're going to pass around some of the items that we have seen in the community. You started with that guy? All of these items came from Caribou County. Yeah, it's in a plastic bag over there. So again, the argument is not whether it's good or bad, but CBD, you've heard of CBD oil, and the CBD, it does provide some relief for some patients. They do sense a sense of relief. And THC is the component that causes you to get high. THC in any form is illegal in Idaho. So, yeah. All around us, there are different variations of what's legal, medicinal, recreational, but, So let's talk about potency. This is what's changed in our world. Back in the day, and I won't tell you what day that was, I've heard about it, but back in that day, for the old mid-range folks in the crowd, remember the crap that had stems and seeds, and it was horrible. It was mostly homegrown, and it was about 20 to 30% THC. So they would roll a joint, and it would have stems and seeds in it, and they'd smoke it out, and it'd be about 20, 30% effective. Now, today, it's genetically engineered. It is distilled, it is compounded, it is not the same. It's not your dad's or your grandma's weed. I don't know your grandma, I'm just saying. And this stuff is pretty hot, 70 to 80% THC. So it's considerable. So the difference between the stems and the seeds and the genetically engineered flower or bud that they can get today is much, much different. That's part of what we're seeing, is the potency is so much different that people aren't really used to it. So let's take it to the next step, and let's talk about dab. Anybody heard of dab? Anybody heard of it, seen it? Okay. So dab, it's concentrated. It's a process using heat, using butane, and it drains the resin, the oils, the concentrated portions of the marijuana into a liquid.
So this that we're looking at here is what's considered dab.
That is dab.
Okay,
Yeah, that's dab.
Shatter. That's that 70 to 80%.
Okay, smoke.
Yeah,
Yeah. A lot of them put it now in a vape.
yeah.
Put it in a vape and
Yeah, we've migrated a little. So they put it in a dab rig, a vape, and the vape in one of those. I think the vape is next. We got a THC vape that's coming around. So what we're seeing is people are using the dab in a vape, and it's more potent than they ever thought was possible. So I won't tell the story in graphic detail, but I will tell the story. We have seen in Caribou County overdoses on THC, and mostly because of edibles. So an edible, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, an edible is infused with THC, and you eat 2 or 3 gummy bears, expecting the euphoria, and it takes a minute. So if you really need to get high, you get 4 or 5 more, and then all of a sudden we have too many on board, and it's too late. So we had a driver that was reported all over the road. We saw him coming into town, we stopped him, and he had bought a jar of edibles in Denver, was driving home, and he was just snacking as he was going. And he'd eaten 15, 20 of them, and he was naked, and he had no idea where he was at, and wanted to fight us. And it was a great memory for all of us. The problem is, he won't remember it, and I can't forget. Wait a minute. Yeah, there it is. That's weird. Did you have a question?
What does a THC overdose look like? Like if we were to come on someone, you know what I mean? What does it look like, a THC overdose versus,
So-
like somebody does a lot of painkillers or something, they're just kind of dead. Or,
Yeah.
you know, what does a THC overdose look like, you know?
what he's describing is very close. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they get naked, they don't know where they're at.
Disorientation.
Orientation, yeah, a lot of that. To a point where I go all over to do canine trainings, and I've done a lot of canine training with people from Denver, from that area, and they're saying now this derivative is having the effect of what they similarly as PCP. It's that potent that they call them PCP.
The paranoia, So the purpose in smoking weed, as I have been told, is the calming effect. You get a buzz, it makes all your problems disappear, right? They don't disappear, they just get delayed. So an overdose, they're pretty amped up. Let's talk about edibles. Y'all remember and still hearing about the brownies, marijuana infused brownies? butter,
Oh, no, we got
tea, I have no idea. I just found this on the internet. I don't understand it either. So we have some edibles that are going around, and as that goes around, we're going to talk quite a bit about this because it's becoming an issue. If you look on that package,
How many are you?
you'll see, we've got a count,
Okay.
okay? Pass it on. You'll see that there's a little marijuana leaf on that packaging. Little tiny. But it's to warn you that it has THC product inside of it. They're masking other items that look like a regular Doritos bag. Sure does. And down on the corner, about the size of a dime, there's a little marijuana leaf that warns you, don't do that.
Who sells that?
These companies that are making these copycat products.
So now because it's federally legal or legal in some states, they market it this way.
Yeah.
Those are knockoffs, they're not actually a brand. That's
Right.
a knockoff.
It's a copycat of the Doritos nacho cheese.
But it's not done by the Frito-Lay company.
No,
So are they made like Mexico or the United States?
United States.
United States.
Yeah. And gummy bears are very, very popular. We see a lot of gummies. A lot of gummies. And this is a bag of gummies. When I talked about, see that prominently placed warning? Wow, it reached right off the bag and shocked me. This is exactly what this is. The risk and the danger is some of these things are laying around. Kids love gummy bears. We're seeing children get into these things and eating way too many. They go to the hospital, it doesn't kill them, but it's not a good experience for them.
How are they introducing it into the bag?
Just like a Ziploc bag, it isn't catalog or nothing.
You'll see on this one that comes around, it's professionally packaged, it's done very, very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My first canine bust was actually a marijuana chocolate, and it threw me off because I hadn't seen it. I thought my dog was false alerting until I smelled the chocolate, and you can tell when.
So edibles in the content. The point is, it can be abused in almost anything. It is everywhere. It's an evolving process. They call it their skill. They're copycatting these things. It's easier to hide from us. Sergeant Call's talking about some of the cases, and he's going to tell some stories tonight. And we're going to learn from that. We are evolving slowly to get caught up with these things, but we're trying to keep up with it. And then the overdose, the potential, I talked about the time and the effect. Reaching down, taking a few gummies here, a few gummies there, they hit, and we're in trouble. So here's another example of several different products that you may recognize. All of these are THC infused. Fruity Pebbles. The one that I really liked was the Pop-Tart. I thought that was pretty ingenious. I love Pop-Tarts, so they're pop.
Kids love nerds.
Yeah.
All right.
I haven't heard of it happening here in our county, but there are places where the kids have found those edibles that look like candy and have taken them to school and have been handing them out to their friends, and all of a sudden they have a bunch of high kids in school, not necessarily knowing what they were getting into. So if people do use the edibles, they need to remember to be very careful with it because it can get out of hand real quick.
Exactly, the sheriff makes a great point, and I alluded to it a little bit before. You gotta be careful with this stuff because kids will love candy and they will pick up on these things. And from what I understand, the point of ingesting an edible is to calm yourself, to delay the problems of the day, to get high, to get the buzz. And when that happens, oftentimes you're not thinking about where you left the bag laying out next to the kids. I didn't bring any cocaine. We see cocaine in the county, not as much, but it's here. Hmm?
Because you didn't have it.
Right, right. That's right. Any drug that's available in this country is available in this county. We have seized everything you can imagine. It's here. We're just trying to be smart enough to avoid that.
The biggest thing is we don't have any adjudicated to us yet. We don't have a judge signing off saying, yeah, you can use our certification. It's a long process.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
That's super troopers.
Am I acting like that again? Check me on that. So now cocaine used to be the rich man's candy, and a lot of it came out of Jackson, not to screw Jackson, but a lot of big money and a lot of it came out of that area. Cocaine recreational use, as you can see, as I'm talking here, it's snorted. Sometimes they dissolve it in water and inject it. That's harsh. But it's usually snorted, lined up and snorted as a powder. Let's talk about heroin. Heroin we see. A few years ago, we bought heroin 11 times in 1 week. When I was the chief in Montpelier and working with soda, we made 11 buys. When we make that brush like that, it usually dries up for quite a while afterwards, but it was here with a vengeance. I don't need to be rude. This is going to be, I'm going to get in so much trouble. The sheriff's here, never mind.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's a trick. That's a trap right there. No, I was going to say, do you have time for a little story?
Sure.
So there I was, minding my own business, dressed in uniform, and we bought heroin.
With Cheetos.
Guess where? In the parking lot of the Montpelier police station. Now, I'm not making this up. We filmed it with our cell phones through the window. They came there, and there was a library in a parking lot, and I was about to say, we don't catch the smart ones, but that would be rude. That would be rude of me to say, so I'm not going to say that. Heroin is what used to kill us all. It used to be the #1 killer because heroin is so addictive. They will do anything to get heroin. Oftentimes, it will be melted into a spoon. He's going to pass around a spoon, and it is an organic substance that they inject directly into a vein. They mainline it, stick it right in there to get that euphoric high immediately. And it happens that way, and it is pretty fast and pretty intense, and lasts a few hours. And then the crash, you have respiratory depression, dry mouth, drowsiness, impaired mental function, all the qualities you look for in a good time. We call it on the nod. If someone's on heroin, they're out of it. They're just on the nod. And you've seen this on TV, and you've seen it in some documentaries where heroin is a real problem. So what they do is they take the heroin and a lighter, and they'll melt it in a spoon. They'll suck it to a little cotton ball to filter it into a syringe. They'll inject it into a vein, and they will inject it in lots of different veins. They'll inject it in their feet, under their arms to try and hide the track marks.
I think it's under the tongue.
Under the tongue, genitals. It is crazy what they do.
So, sorry, normally this class is a recovery. This night is like a recovery. So you're talking to some addicts here, some former addicts. I've heard.
Please.
I've heard from people that I know. I've never had experience with heroin, amphetamines, all the other stuff. You know, I've been a plague to me in my life, my prayer life. I've heard that heroin is pure enough now that you can sort it, and they mix it with sometimes, the THC or the marijuana. So it can be ingested that way too.
Exactly, it's an evolving skill. We're seeing this all the time, it becomes better and better. Look at the difference in weed. Remember the little stems and seeds that we used to?
Yeah.
I mean, holy crap. And now, you suck that bud, I mean, they're 16 inches long, the flower. And they're genetically engineered, and they're doing the same with these other drugs as well. I've never understood heroin. I got this next slide. No. You can't see it too well, but up at the top is black tar heroin. To me, yeah, we passed it. To me,
Yeah.
it looks like poop. Can I say poop? It looks like poop. It's organic, it's brown, and I don't know why you would put that in. Actually, I do know why. You know why. I know why. Because it's an addiction. It feels really, really good. And then once you get that plateau high, you never get that high again on that substance, and they're always, always chasing it. So heroin, injected, it's kind of lost its luster. Haven't seen it for a while.
Around here.
Yeah,
May I say something?
please.
When I was 19 in Twin Falls, Idaho, going to police school, I worked at the Magic Valley Memorial Hospital, a big hospital. And I was around the emergency room a lot, and one night the coroner, who I personally knew, brought in a 19-year-old girl, the same age as me, beautiful long blonde hair. There she is on the stretcher, and she was dead. And you got the spoon in like they just showed you, and you have the spoon and the injectable, everything there.
Yeah.
And I remember that because it was so
Shocking.
unreal.
Yeah, hard to believe.
She was my age and died from it.
And I'm sorry, Gary, you know Etch from the congregation here. I did not pay him the respect he deserves. Gary gave 33 years to this community, has 34 years as a deputy sheriff. I rode with him when I was in high school in the front passenger seat. Yes, yes. And even that took a little therapy, but I got through it. And we're good now. I mean, we're super, right? You said, those are your words. So the prescription medications that become very popular, and they're clean, they're trustworthy. It's not the poop that we're getting off the street, it's a pill made by a pharmacy, and we can trust this, right? So we do, we have a pill, and we take this pill, and it blocks the sensors, the pain sensors, it makes us feel really good, and our body says, dang, that's good, let's do that again. So we do. It's used to relieve pain, belongs to a group of opioid analgesics, and it's very popular. I have, by the way, we were talking about fentanyl. There's no fentanyl here tonight because it's too dangerous. We don't touch it. We don't let the dog, we don't do it. But I'm just theoretically, I'm going to.
So, but fentanyl is a derivative of an opioid, right? Like it,
Yeah.
painkiller, it's a prescription drug type of fentanyl is a laboratory thing, like kind of like yes.
Man-made. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I have, well, I do have cocaine. I have about an ounce of cocaine in this jar. Are you sure? Yeah. It's sealed with cocaine in the jar. I have an ounce of cocaine in this jar. I have a few oxycodone pills, 8 or 10 here. If we were to snort this much cocaine, it would probably kill you. This much would overload your body and you would overdose and die. But the thing about this is, you snort this and it would erode your nose. Getting that much in your body probably couldn't happen. Your nose would start to bleed, your body would say, no, this doesn't work. Similar with the pills. If you were to take 8 or 10 oxycodone, it might kill you, it might end you. But your body, in the process, would say, that does not feel right. We need to vomit. We need to get rid of this. In this jar, I have enough fentanyl to kill us both. The difference is, your nose will fall off, your stomach will turn inside out, and you won't even know what hit you. You're done.
Your body doesn't have time to react.
No, you're on that stretcher with your long blonde hair, and you're done. That's why this is so dangerous. And what we're seeing is, the crap is everywhere. Everywhere. Let's talk a little bit more about the prescription stuff and the other ways that they're doing this, so you'll be aware. Oftentimes, they will grind the pills up, and they'll snort them like a line of cocaine. They'll put them in water and inject them. Injecting I guess that meth, injecting meth is ice, isn't it? They inject ice, that's what they call it. Or inhaling the vapors. We're going to talk about this in just a minute. The prescription. So, got time for a little story? So there I was. I was wrapped in tan polyester, the only way I'm happy. But that's not the point. There I was, minding my own business, working for Adam Maybe, making all the big money, and I got a call over the radio. Roper, we got something for you. There's a car coming in across the flats. He's going really fast. 100 miles an hour, in and out of traffic, into oncoming lanes. We need you to go out there and fix this. So I find my trooper hat, put that sucker on, and out across the flats I go. So I'm about Alexander, where the guardrails are, and my radar blinks 99. I'm no detective, but I'm thinking that's probably him. And I see him, and here he comes, and he passes the two cars into my lane. Whoa, that is him. So I take the ditch, I turn around, and I'm in high-speed pursuit of the suspect. Now, I'm in a 1-ton gray Ford pickup that Adam makes me drive. So it's going to take me a minute. I'm going to get him, but it's going to take me a minute. So I get into town, we're getting slowed down into town, pulls over at the motel, and I walk up to the door and I says, "Where are you going in such a hurry?" And he said, "Oh, my girlfriend's at the airport. This truck won't make it. I had to come over here and get a car. I had to call, make the car arrangements. I come over to get a car. Now I'm headed back to the airport. I've been working all night in Pocatello, and I gotta go. I really have to go." And I said, "You worked all night. You drove from Pocatello to Soda to get a car, and now you're headed to Idaho Falls?" "Yeah, that's the plan." "Perfect." I said, "I noticed you got a little white stuff on your nose there." Couldn't help but notice. It was a class in the police academy. He had some white stuff on his nose, and I said, "What's on your nose?" He said, "Well, I was tired, and I had to do an Addy." Now, an Addy is an Adderall. It's a slang term for Adderall. So he ground up an Addy, and did the capsule or whatever, and snorted it to get the euphoric high so he could stay driving. All the qualities you look for in a driver, right? And I said, "Well, when did you do that?" And he said, "Oh, about in motion? You did that while you're driving? Dude, let me shake your hand." And while I got a hold of it, let's put this on right there. No, we arrested him. And he was DUI. He was very, very dangerous, and he wasn't making good choices, and he was euphoric, also known as high. So we put him in jail, and as you can see, that type of person creates a bad situation for a lot of folks. Motivated? Yeah. Good choice? No. No. So oftentimes they will do that with a pill, and they will grind it up, and it's called chasing the dragon. That's their slang term for it. So we have some foil that we picked up in Caribou County. Sometimes they'll take a tablet, sometimes they'll take the ground up pill, sometimes they'll take a gob of heroin, and they will put it on some foil with a big lighter underneath it, and they'll roll that around and have a tutor, they call it, which is a little pen tube, and they'll inhale the vapors that come off of that as they're burning it. and they chase that dragon all over that foil, and it gets them high. My personal favorite, I've never used it. Thank goodness I've never had to deal with it, but my personal favorite to take away is methamphetamine. It's very, very common. People used to make it in their bathtub. It used to really be nasty, dirty, rotten stuff made out of chemicals. Yet, it was actually created in 1893. It's a legal drug.
It was pretty way before that.
Yeah, I think so. And even now, today,
Created by particular scientists.
it was.
Right, they made it so, yeah.
It was. So that they could fly all the way across, so that,
Right,
yeah.
that's how they do those, wind screens, that's how that happened.
Yeah, I don't know what they call that, but yeah, they had a different name for it. And even the US experimented with it to keep the soldiers alert and awake. It's been around a long time. And today, it's still here in legal form. Amphetamine salts to treat ADHD. Methamphetamine is a mind-altering psychotoxic drug. Once you use meth, it rewires your brain to the point where you want to do it again and again and again. One time. I went to a conference and they were explaining it. We had a panel there. And one person explained using meth as taking your favorite flavor of lollipop. What's your favorite flavor? Grape, cherry, whatever that may be. And you lick that until it's gone. How many licks is that? Hundreds, you know? And then when you're all done, the person on the panel said, it's like putting all those into one, and that's the flavor you get from meth. Wow. That sounds interesting. What it does is it rewires you, and so you need that again and again, and your brain says, let's do that again, let's do some more. Let's do that again. So meth, it's crystallized. We've got some meth pipes and some actual meth going around. I was saying how dirty and nasty it used to be, made in bathtubs and barns and houses, and it was brown and rotten and had stuff in it that would burn your body. Today, we don't see it made much locally, if at all, because it is available. We got a rock in Caribou County that was the size of my palm, and it was crystal clear. It was like a magnifying glass, crystal clear. The quality, like we talked about, the upgrade, the skill level of the people doing this, the money involved in this has made it into a enterprise, and they're making big, big money and producing big, big product. So we see a lot of it that comes in. The crystal meth, the methamphetamine is ingested. It's usually smoked through a glass pipe. The vapors are what they're after. So if you see a glass pipe that's got some burn marks on it, they take the lighter and they'll hold the pipe, and they want to cool the vapors because they're dang hot. So that you might see a burn on the mouth or on the fingers. And it also creates a sense of great paranoia. I think these people are fun to deal with. I hate to say that out loud, and I don't want any of you to become my client, just for the fun of it. But the paranoia is kind of shocking. I don't mean to make fun of it because it's bad, but they feel like there's a bug under the skin. So they will pick at the skin until they can get that bug and actually pick an open sore. You've seen where this happens, and it's sad. And big part of what we're doing tonight is to say, let's avoid this in our lives, in our children, grandchildren. Let's be aware of these things and make sure we're educated enough where we don't get in trouble. So, the fentanyl, that's the stuff that's arrived. That's the new number one. It's killing everybody.
So we've seen it here in Soda.
Taking it away. 5,000 tablets. One person. In soda.
planning on
We-
distribution here?
Yeah. We've carried bodies out of basements and so on. It's here, and it's killing people right in Caribou County. We had an accidental overdose. And Soda had one where they got a hold of some drugs that they didn't know, and he died. So originally, as you described, made, and its purpose, you heard the elephant tranquilizer. So fentanyl was used to trank an elephant. You need to do that pretty quick, or the elephant will stomp a mud hole in you. I'm told. I've never been to Africa, and I've never dealt with one personally. But I do work for Adam, so I'm just saying. Adam will stomp a mud hole in you too. Fentanyl doesn't work on him.
Everybody tranquilize that?
We'll put it in his hot chocolate. It doesn't work. So if you can imagine what it would take to put down an elephant, that's a pretty good. If you use that on a human of that body size, a lethal dose of fentanyl will fit on a pencil tip. It's killing people right and left. So it's 50 times stronger than heroin.
As far as stronger, like,
Potency.
the opioid, I'm trying to understand what it is or why it's that way. Is it synthetic, completely synthetic?
I don't know. I think it's man-made synthetic opioid. Heroin will put you on the floor.
Right.
And you're on the floor for a couple hours. 50 times? 100 times stronger than morphine? Who's used morphine in here and felt the effects of morphine? I have. How'd you like to times that by 100? Probably not. I don't know that you'd come out of it. So they make, how do they get their product? Oh, there's a 5,000 tablets of soda. We intercepted that. Thank goodness.
And that's just one person?
Yeah.
That's not adding to,
No, that was one person received 5,000 tablets. They call them blues. They're little pills. They have an M on them. They're very easily confused. I think morphine's purple, as I recall, the morphine tablet, but it's got an M on it, and it's everywhere. It's taken over our world. So here's one way in which they put fentanyl on their body. Why would they do this? Why would they try to kill people? Why would someone put fentanyl in their drugs? If Colby's a drug dealer and I'm a drug dealer, what do we want? Addiction. We want addiction. We want more customers. I want his customers. So given the chance, I will put him out of business. I'll either snitch him out, I'll do whatever I need to do, or I got the best stuff. You don't want that junk. That's got seeds and stems. I got engineered bud. I got the good stuff. It gets you a lot higher than his, so everybody comes over to me because I know what I'm doing, and I am putting fentanyl in my product. Now, I'm no chemist. I'm not a person who can compound medications. I'm just a dipshit in my basement creating drugs for people I don't like.
You're just a cop.
All right, don't keep your expectations low, really low. I'm just in my basement making this stuff, and so I spray it onto the drugs. I'll lay out the weed, I'll lay out the cocaine, whatever, and I'll spray, I'll dilute the fentanyl and I'll spray it out on top of my drugs. And I'll create this recipe that's better than his. So I'm going to spray it on there. And if I get this green arrow, I got some. What if I get the yellow arrow spot over here on this other page? It looks a little more intense, doesn't it? Like there's a little more fentanyl on that. What about that area? That's right. The point is, when they spray this crap on there, there's no telling how much goes where. It's not an oxycontin pill that you can trust. It's somebody who's putting this together trying to make it great. If you get a globule, it's the only word I can think of, keep your expectations low. If you get a thing of fentanyl and it's too much, you may or may not know it. And the way out, I have one, you have one, we carry it. I meant to get a hold of the health department, but I didn't. I let you down, but this is Narcan. So I would recommend that you get some Narcan and just have it available in your houses. We carry it for each other because sometimes we get into this crap or the dog. Or we carry it to try and save someone's life. But Narcan reverses the effect of the opioid. And it's a nasal, one-time spray.
What about Okay, so I have actually a story with that. There was, officer called out, I got a guy. Huh?
Minding your own business.
Right, no, I wasn't minding my own
Oh,
business. The guy calls out on the radio, says, hey, I got a guy unconscious in the car. We go there and we break the window to pull him out. We Narcan him 6 times. In our training, they say if you Narcan somebody 4 times, they're dead, just give up. Took 6 of our Narcan, we all ran out, there was 4 officers there. We all ran out, 6 of us, 6 Narcan doses to turn him back. We saved him, but that's how potent his was.
yes.
And if you were to stop at 4.
Yeah, well, we got on the radio and said, hey, hospital, what do we do? And they said, just keep hitting him until the ambulance gets there. And we used all we had.
Right.
So, but yeah. And now you'll see it. Narcan's readily available pretty much everywhere. You'll see them in a purple bag. Health departments give them out in a purple bag. You'll see it in Walmart. So if you find somebody in a stall or something like that, you can Narcan them and not worry about, we call it Good Samaritan law. You don't have to worry about being prosecuted or anything like that.
How does Narcan, how does it work? How does it reverse the effects of drug?
It blocks that sensor that the drug is firing on. It breaks that.
So it's a brain stops
It's
the.
the chemistry issue. Opioid receptors, it blocks.
Now, if you do have a Narcan somebody, they're going to come out fighting. You just took away the high.
Just run away.
Yeah.
So in Idaho, as Sergeant Call mentioned, there is a Good Samaritan law that if you are providing aid to someone, you will not be prosecuted. So if you drop someone at the hospital, we're not going to come after them. Even if you gave them the stuff. Just save them. They're not the one we're after. We appreciate you trying to save your brothers and sisters.
It's really easy to kind of tell if it's going to be a fentanyl overdose because it's impacting the respiratory system for the most part, so you stop breathing. And so people will start turning blue. Because
That's when you know.
they're not getting oxygen. And that's one of the better indicators that this is probably going to be an opiate type situation.
So would that be the same thing, like if someone was overdosing on Oxycontin or overdosing on heroin, it would have that same effect, just not as completely?
The Narcan will bring those people out too. But if they're on meth, it's not going to touch them. It's only for the opiate types, whether it's synthetic or natural opiate, that the Narcan's going to work on.
Don't worry about it though.
Yeah,
If you find somebody overdose, just hit them with the Narcan.
Yeah, you hit them with it, just like Sergeant Paul says. Don't try to figure it out because.
Yeah, I mean, if they're in trouble, that's their best bet.
Because right now, one of the big things is what's called xylazine. I think it's xylazine. It's a tranquilizer for animals. It's veterinary clinics. They use it all the time. The FDA has not allowed it. Even over in Europe, they blocked it. and they're mixing that with the fentanyl now. And so it depends, if the person might be on more xylazine than fentanyl, or it might be a mixture of both, go try to figure it out. If you've got access to the Narcan, you just get it with them and just hope for the best.
Get on 911,
Yeah.
answer their questions. Don't worry about getting prosecuted, we're not after you.
Right.
Get on 911, get some help coming, and if you've got Narcan, get after it. Because the respiratory, you want them to breathe that in.
Right.
You will get the gasping stuff. You only got a minute. But keep
Are
out.
you giving out, so you just give away free?
Go to the health department, that's what it is. Yeah, it's readily available.
That's what I was gonna do, I was gonna call them and see, and I was gonna bring some, but I didn't.
It's so readily available that users now are carrying it.
Oh,
So
my
if we were users,
Oh, yeah.
it's so potent that I would use, and he would watch me overdose, and then he'd hit me with it. And then when I'm back up and on my feet, it's his turn, and then I'll see if he overdoses, and I'll hit him.
I bet 80 to 90% of the people we arrest with drugs have a Narcan kit with them.
Fentanyl's so prevalent in San Diego that all the users carry it. They don't even call 911 when somebody overdoses.
Seriously.
They just fentanyl and they get up and there's guys in Hillcrest that we fentanyl every day.
Yeah, they get right up.
Or we Narcan every day.
They're bad.
By noon, we get a call to go Narcan this day, they talk right back up and we didn't get the next step.
So we're kind of already into that. I'm grateful that we are in the Q&A part. What scares you? You know what? We've already talked about that. We're an open forum here tonight. We'll talk about. I'll tell you something. Whether it's accurate or not, I don't know. And how can we help you? Are you worried? You got some anxiety going on? And we're reaching out. We're starting this message early. We're trying to educate, being careful about what you eat. We're taking this to all the schools, juniors and seniors, because they're going to embark on the big world, and you know they're going to be exposed to this wherever they go, whether they go out to the plant or to Utah State, whatever, it's going to be around. So it's here, and we are grateful to be part of the community and do what we do. I love what I do. I can't believe I get paid to do this. I love being part of the community.
Well, I mean, you got that code.
Right. Well, then there's the cocaine.
Yeah.
There is that. Aside stuff. I grew up in Grace. I said I went to Grace High School, best 7 years of my life, and finally got out of there. And then I moved away and had some great experiences in other areas as a police officer. I've been a cop for a long time, and got to come home. And so this is where I'll watch the sunset, and I'm here for you and your kids and whatever. So if you need something, we are your sheriff's office, and the city police do a fantastic job, and we work very, very well with them. We're your resource in the county other than Soda Springs, so if you need something, anything, hit us up. We're not the bad guys. So we can turn that on and off.
We appreciate you, we do appreciate, we don't think we do that. But as a congregation, what would be our most effective way to help you as far as things like this go? Is there something we could do, say, teach, a word we could pass, other than what we talked about tonight? Have you found that there are things that are effective?
I think education and awareness is key. Just don't stumble into this. Just be aware that it's there. Who would have ever thought we needed to check a bag of Doritos? I was shocked the first one that I saw. It was so real. The education component, the being the good brother or sister, to just say, hey, how are things? What's going on? Being that advocate, being that friend to a person, being aware of your people that you associate with here and everywhere. We love chasing this stuff. We really do, and we're aware.
We love you, Jason.
We don't get as much as we should, but Sergeant Call has K9 Poppy is her name.
Aw.
Named after Poppy.
She's a little circus baby, isn't she?
She's not very big. about the size of a poppy plant.
Oh, that's
So-
really awesome.
It depends on what class I'm teaching. If it's little kids, it's the Trolls movie. If it's after heroin.
After the poppy plant.
Gotcha.
I would, well, put you too much on the spot. Colby's got a great personal story that I wish he would share about some family history and how the dog came about. This thing right here will.
I think
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
So, I've been with the Sheriff's Office 16 years, been canine handler 12. Everybody always asks, why do you become a cop? Because we get paid a whole bunch of money, I'm telling you. The nicest car I'll ever drive is my patrol car. Adam told me I'm in it until I retire, so I'll be there. No, I got into law enforcement because when I was in 5th grade, my brother overdosed on methamphetamine. We had to life flight him, and we were lucky. We saved him. He still struggles with addiction to this day. It's, like you said, it's an addict problem. I decided then that I was going to be part of the solution and not the problem. So I went and chased a dream, and now I'm a canine handler, and now I chase the problem. Some days I don't know if that I'm making any difference, but I think I am to at least my own conscience. So that's my story of why I got into law enforcement. So, yeah, that's what I got for that.
Colby, appreciate you sharing that. Colby's a great guy. I love working with him. He also commented before that it had quite the effect on his family, and that's kind of what I want to say. I know we know people, we've lost people. We know people that, and we honor their memory. People make choices. Some are better than others. I've seen you do some very stupid things. But it cuts a wide path of destruction. So whatever you can do, whatever you can see or interject and do, you don't have any clue how much of an effect that's going to make. You might seem like it was totally blown off, but you don't know. So take that step. Interject yourself into the situation. Hey, brother, sister, how are things? What's going on? And we will be there to support you in any way that we can. I'm old. I've reached the pinnacle of my career, and so I don't need to make any more busts, but I do need to make a difference in this community. And that is done through me reaching out and looking for opportunities, and that's what I would suggest to you as well. With that, that completes the time we have available for our session today. But we will answer any questions that you have. Do you have anything else that you want to bring up or talk about? Yes, sir.
So, can your dog, you've got these jars of drugs, can the dog smell that that's in the jars?
Yes.
I mean, like, so,
Poppy's, fentanyl's so new. I've had Poppy for 8 years. And 8 years ago, fentanyl was not a big deal at the time. And so now, the Soda Springs Police Department just got a new dog, and that dog is trained on alerting fentanyl. My dog's getting close to being ready to retire, so I need another fentanyl dog this year. He needs a rated
Or a new
dog.
truck, apparently.
You need to take some notes.
So yeah, there's dogs out there that are finding fentanyl now. You can train a dog to find anything. They use them in jails to find tobacco. Bombs, yeah. But a bomb dog is not one I'd want to ever run because you don't ever want an alert if you run a bomb dog.
so, I mean, does the dog get excited when you're carrying around these drugs?
You want to see the dog?
Yes.
Of course we do. We have the dog. She'll be on the floor. You'll give it-
Dog will clean it.
Okay.
You mind if I just, while we're waiting for the dogs, I guess the dogs will come in, guys. This is really important, and it's really near and dear. Tava and I, the church has facilitated us to help people recover from stuff like this. it's important to me that people know, when you come into this world, you are sold into a world or born into a world that is controlled by someone that wants you or demise. Until Jesus finds you, you are a slave to that world. When Jesus finds you, he pulls you out. When you have problems, and addiction is one, you can be addicted to a lot of things, but I mean, drugs are hard because they do change the landscape of your mind. And they change who you are and how you make decisions. The way I recovered from that was Jesus. Jesus found me and he took it out of me. They talk about doing meth, and I did that for years and years and years. And when I quit doing meth, it was because Christ asked me to quit doing meth. And Christ took that away from me and healed that in my brain. So there are ways you can heal, there are ways you can recover. Jesus is the way. And this place is the way to do it. And I'm grateful that everybody's here. I mean, a lot of you I see here all the time. I don't recognize everyone, of course, but I'm so grateful for you guys to come and just help us be aware. But
And thank you so much for adding that, the personal touch to it. And what I forgot was, you can overcome this.
absolutely.
You know that everything is possible with Jesus, and this is one step in your life that you can overcome this, and you can help people overcome this. So don't give up.
Absolutely. Just because someone's on drugs doesn't mean they're lost.
No,
Just because someone has overdosed doesn't mean they're hopeless.
we're done with the DARE program, saying
Yeah.
people who use drugs are bad. So the dog's going to come in. She's very small. She's really cute. She's not a biter. She's more of a tear, but she's a biter. Kind of like Exorcist. But I can say that at his expense because anyway, she comes in. She's not going to bite. Just sit still, and she's going to walk around the room, and she's going to alert. So you talk about the ability to smell. When we go into a pizza restaurant, we can smell pizza. She can smell every ingredient on the pizza. The flour, the pepperoni, the marinara sauce, all those. She can distinguish between all of those. So that's the ability of the puppy to come in and enhance the ability that we don't have. We have some marijuana here that she should be able to smell. Yeah.
You put one of those jars in my pocket, you can find it?
She might. She might.
What if I hit it?
She would bite you. She'd spit you out, but she'd bite you.
As the sheriff, I deal an awful lot with legislation that goes around, and as Russ said, we just want to help people. We don't want to get in that argument, is marijuana should be legal or not legal, but to give you an idea of the political side that I have to deal with, let's say we legalize marijuana tomorrow. How that impacts law enforcement in the community is almost every single drug dog in the state of Idaho is now useless. Because the dog is trained on the sense. It doesn't go, okay, all right, Kobe, that's marijuana, that's meth, that's cocaine. It goes, I smelled an illegal drug. So if we do legalize marijuana in the state of Idaho, you see how that will impact law enforcement and the community as a whole. Every single drug dog in the state of Idaho is now useless for use in finding drugs.
And that's a slippery slope. We saw that in California. They
Yeah.
legalized marijuana, and then they made all other drugs misdemeanors. So we dumped our drug canine program, because it was a lot of work and a lot of effort to write somebody a ticket.
And the way that the environment changes so much, we need that tool as law enforcement for us. So it's like I said, I don't want to get in that argument, should we legalize or not. I think there's pluses for legalizing, I think there's minuses for it, but that's how it impacts the community. Just that little subject.
I think by far the way to work together on the market is alcohol.
And alcohol is probably the worst one.
I think it is.
The
It's legal. You know.
Over the years, in the jail, the individuals that have the hardest time are the alcoholics.
Right, right.
I've seen an individual sit, I think Gary could probably remember him. He came into the jail at the courthouse, and he'd sit on the floor, and he'd just sit there and dig at the floor. And that was alcohol. Alcohol is the worst, from what I understand, of coming out of it. So,
I think that's the worst.
Yeah, I'll be with you.
all right.
So we're going to introduce you to Poppy the canine. That's cute. She's getting a little gray, like me. Doesn't mean she's not capable.
Keep us ready and give me a holster for her. So I will have hidden some narcotics over there, but I'm worried about that box. We'll just see how this goes. You sure? Think she found it?
Prove it to the jury.
Well, I have love, but there's marijuana in that can.
That's a concealment concealment vault that they use. And if you want to educate yourself, go to the website, go to the DEA website, and they've got all sorts of information on drugs, what they look like, how they can be hidden, and everything to help
No, we have, I was gonna, okay, we have.
Casey. Just say no. Are you lying? Yeah, I'm just trying to give you drugs, just say no.
Yeah, we can just